Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Market Carver. Hope you've had an outstanding week. Obviously, big things that are going on inside of the marketplace. Want to break down for you the allocation meeting in this week's Market Carver. Let's start with the fundamental leg. Municipal bonds, fixed income, in fact, have really been smacked around since the beginning of May. The utilities, for instance, was one of the leading sectors, obviously known for their high dividends. The interest rate environment started to change in May. And as a result, utilities got smacked very, very quickly. Well, municipal bonds are no different. The outflow there, as you can see on this chart, down a little bit more than $13 billion withdrawn just in the months of the ending part of May and June. A lot of money going to the markets, and people really don't understand how bond funds work. But some of the challenges that the bond managers are having to deal with as these redemptions are being ordered is really, really incredible. Something to keep an eye on. We talked about Bill Gross in his flagship fund had almost $10 billion pour out of it. That's not just municipal. So we're dealing with big numbers, big withdrawals. When you move to the technical leg, gold is an interesting thing. I think most people know it was down about 26% year to date. A lot of interesting gold stories that are out there. Germany asked for some of its gold back from the New York Fed, and was told that it would get it all over the course of the next 7 years. Why does it take 7 years? A lot of things we don't know. The reality is that gold got beat. But when you look at things technically, and that's what this technical leg is all about, it shows that it may be finding some support, some long-term technical. Here's where people start to come in and buy it again. And so far, that's playing out pretty well for the people who either held onto their gold or started to get back in. Again, the technical leg doesn't tell you anything about fundamentals. It doesn't tell you anything about what's going on in the narrative. It just shows where money flow is going. Sometimes it works better than others. That's why it's one of the four legs. It's important, but it's not the only leg. Number three is the institutional leg we want to talk about. Big change for hedge funds. They've not been allowed to advertise and talk to individuals. You still have to be able to be accredited to get into them. But you're going to start to hear more and more conversation about hedge funds. That kind of matches some of the models that we have. It's going to be interesting to see how the advertisement works. But here's the key. The industry is changing. It will continue to change, and it's fluid, and we've got to pay very, very close attention to that. BRICS bleed in 2013, move into the narrative. We've talked about the BRICS before. Remember, that's Brazil, Russia, India, and China. They call them the developing nations. I don't think you can call the second largest economy in the world China developing, but the coin was phrased. Those four economies couldn't be any more different than night or day, but they're all having challenges, and one of the big challenges is more than 27% of the money invested in them by U.S. investors has been withdrawn this year. Essentially, all the money put in since 2005 has effectively been withdrawn this year. What's happening is people are chasing the S&P 500 return. We talked about it in the thirdly. I've talked about it with the reviews we've had with families that we serve. The S&P 500 is the only thing that has worked this year. Everything else, including bonds, down over 4%. Everything else has lost. Anything any money manager has done for diversification has cost you money. And the reality, though we don't like that, we can't abandon diversification over a short-term market cycle. A lot of people are making mistakes that way, so we've got to be very, very careful, very, very prudent going forward. But we've also got to pay attention to some of the challenges in China. When you look at it fundamentally, they're real. There are some issues that are there. They may go right back to doing some of the corporate government spending, if you will, to try to boost their GDP, coming in near 7%, and that's a big slowdown when you're used to growing over 10. Going to be interesting to watch what happened, but for now, they're getting walloped. Rules to live by: you shouldn't be all the way in or all the way out in any market. We believe in waiting. It's W-A-D-E, not W-A-I-T. We wait when we're getting ready to make changes, because you never know how the market is going to behave, and we've got to live through more than one simple market cycle. There are periods of time right now when you look and there's huge opportunities. There's also some risk that's out there. So as we adjust models, let's wade back and forth, not just run. Well, this is tax time, folks. I know I've mentioned it before. This is when we get a lot of the good tax planning done. My schedule is available. Adam, Don, Jack, we're all ready to sit down and to share things with you. But here's the key. If your adjusted gross income is going to be below $72,000 this year, That means and you're married filing jointly, you're going to wind up in the 15% tax bracket. That means capital gains rate is 0. We need to make the most use of that. There's nothing that will separate us from our retirement like the IRS. Let's make sure that we're using these tax codes proactively. And if we can reset basis in some of the portfolios, we need to do that. If you're out and about on Saturday morning, don't forget to catch the radio show 9 to 10 on WQME. Sunday mornings 10 to 11 on Shine 99. And of course, you can always find the newspaper column either in the Herald Bulletin on our website at yourlifeafterwork.com. Folks, we appreciate the faith and confidence. If you've got time, you want to sit down and talk about this crazy economy, go over models, we are more than happy to have that conversation. Adam and I and the team are just a phone call away. Give us a buzz. Hope you're having a great summer. Enjoying your time. Look forward to talking with you soon. God bless.